Boys, how you doing?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Hey man, I'm good. Because Chipotle named a burrito after Miley Cyrus.
Prayers answered.
Yeah, dude. Chipotle named a burrito after Miley Cyrus. And I gotta say, I'm kind of disappointed because it's a vegan burrito. Like it's like mad healthy and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that wasn't like shocking. I think I felt the same way where I was like, oh, this is gonna be some funky ass delicious burrito, but it's not. It's certainly what she eats all the time.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. If you go to Chipotle and just say guac is extra, but so is Miley, you'll get this Miley burrito that is plant-based, all this stuff. But like, what should be in a Miley Cyrus burrito?
Oh.
Like for real, like this shouldn't be what a Miley Cyrus burrito should be. No, a Miley Cyrus burrito should have like at least mad hot sauce in it or something.
Yeah. Oh. Wow, that's a fantastic question. I don't even know what the protein should be. Chris, you're the protein expert. Help us out here. What would the Miley Cyrus protein be? Would there be one?
Oh, I don't know. I can't ever.
Wait, you're on mute. Oh my God.
Can you guys hear me?
We've been doing Zoom calls. We've been doing Zoom for 10 months. 10 months. And this guy's on mute.
I am on mute because there is a singing baby in the other room that is quite loud. I do know a lot about protein. I can't say that I have ever been asked a question like this before. Tell me, what is Miley Cyrus's protein?
Yes.
Dude, I have no idea. I did hear, she was on, I think, Rogan not long ago, and she talked about how she's like totally changed up her lifestyle, and I guess like vegan diet has been part of it. And like she even talked about like not drinking and stuff like that because she likes waking up in the morning and like feeling like she can be productive for the day. So that, I mean, that is all totally thrown me for a loop. And like, I feel like if I knew what the Miley burrito was gonna look like in the past, I sure as hell don't know what it what it looks like now and what Miley's protein source is. I have no idea. I can't answer that one.
Yeah,
well,
it's probably has.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's got to have black beans and pinto beans and super hot sauce because it's just gonna ruin your day and your night, right? It's just you got to start nasty because it's gonna end nasty, probably.
Yeah, and it should be called the Wrecking Ball burrito.
Oh, there
like
it is.
this could have been better. You know, I know people grow up and they evolve, but this could have been more fun. It could have been.
Right.
Could have been more fun. But like, what other celebrities need burritos? Do you think? Do you have a celebrity in mind of who you would name a burrito after and like what you would put in it?
These questions are amazing.
It's a tough one. I have one. I think there should be a Kanye burrito, right?
Okay.
And it's a surprise. You have absolutely no idea what you're going to get. Like you go to Chipotle and you're like, I want the Kanye burrito. And they're like, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, I want the Kanye burrito. And you have no idea what you're going to get. You might get the best chicken burrito bowl you've ever had in your life. Or you might get barbacoa with all the salsas that you hate. And it's the worst burrito of your life. But like, you're getting something. It's a surprise. You paid for it. That's the Kanye burrito.
That's good. I like that. That makes me think of like other artists, like musical artists that have like changed up the style of music that they produce, and like their burrito would be different every time you get it.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what I was thinking too, Chris. And I think we have the Taylor Swift burrito.
Yeah.
Ooh,
and instead of it being different every time, it's kind of built in its own little zones. It's got 3 zones within it. That first zone, it's just chicken, it's cheese, it's lettuce, it's plain, it's pinto beans, it's safe. That middle zone kicks it up a little bit notch. You really get some chipotle, you get a little bit of salsa, and you definitely have some guac in there. And then the back end is just
it's just rice.
Chris doesn't like the back end. The back end is a little bit safer. It's like the vegan aspect. I think that's where you have your vegan part is on zone number 3 with kind of how she's evolved in her music styles as to where we are in 2020 today. That vegan burritos on the end of it. So you get all 3 of those in one, ladies and gentlemen. The Taylor Swift.
Yeah, zone 3 has no seasoning at all.
Yeah. Yeah. The burrito just drops off at the in zone 3. It just, no meat.
You get to it and the back just falls out and like you don't even realize it. It just goes all over the place and you're just looking at it going, what happened here?
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
I didn't want a bowl. This is a bowl. I didn't want a bowl.
You're like holding it and all of a sudden,
it just goes away.
What are we doing? Oh my gosh. But yeah, that was fun. Would you guys want, what would you guys want named after you? Just like is there a sandwich you want named after you? Would you want a burrito named after you? Would you want, I don't know, any food item named after you?
I think specifically huevos rancheros.
Okay.
Like my own take on it. Does that surprise you at all?
If it wasn't pizza eggs, it's definitely huevos rancheros.
That's a good one too. That's
that's a specialty on the menu. Ooh, boy, that's a great question. Mine would either, if it's a food item, it's got to be something pumpkin flavored, no doubt about it. The Steel City Basic, bitch.
Oh wait, though this is a funny story actually. We had a tailgate like a year or 2 ago where we had a pizza oven at the tailgate and paper plates. And we had people write down what they wanted on the paper plates and then, write down the type of pizza, all the toppings. Then we would make it for them and let them know when it was ready. Of course, Dan, with his name, he wrote Steel City Dan next to what he wanted. And then after he got his pizza, like people kept looking at the paper plate and saying, "Oh, can I have the Steel City Dan?" They thought it was like a menu item at the tailgate that day. So you might also have a pizza, Dan.
That's true. I totally forgot about that. I'm so glad you said that the Steel City Dan pizza, and then give me a beer. Give me the Steel City Sour to go with it. It pairs beautifully. We're gonna open this place up real soon, and it'll maybe one of those old Pizza Huts that you always recognize with the roof. We're just going to take into one of those, and pizza ovens are already in there. We'll serve beer with it. It'll be great.
That or like a family video.
Right.
That's the restaurant. It's family video, but it's a restaurant inside.
I love it.
That's it. Oh man. Yeah. Mine would be I'd have a hot dog named after me. I think that's what I would go for. I would have a hot dog because I specifically like a lot of things on my hot dog, like onion. I like jalapeno peppers. I like banana peppers on it, ketchup, mustard, relish. Like I even want like an extra, even like relish is pickles. I just want like a dill pickle on the side. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I want named.
That's intense.
Well, boys, since we talked about burritos, let's get started with the brunch breakdown. I'm Didi out here in California. Chris and Dan are in Pittsburgh. And Dan, tell everybody where they can find all this great brunch breakdown content.
Absolutely. You can find the Brunch Breakdown anywhere that you listen to podcasts. That includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, just to name a few. And go ahead and when you find us there, hit subscribe. That way these episodes get delivered to you every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, they'll get delivered right to you without the need to go searching for those individual links that we send out on our social media platforms. Don't forget the full video episodes. So we've got a lot of visuals throughout these things, and you don't want to miss some of them. Maybe you've seen the clips, but you can see the full video. Those premiere on our YouTube and Facebook pages also on Wednesdays, and then they're available anytime on demand in both of those resources as well. And of course, the rest of our social media platforms. We are at Brunch Breakdown. We talked about Facebook, but Twitter and Instagram is where. Follow us there.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, today on the show, we're going to be getting into volume 3 of, is it volume 3 or volume 4? Where are we at?
Volume 4.
Volume 4. Whoa,
yeah.
Volume 4 of our Now, that's what I call brunch series. We talk all about a different era of the Now music album series. And this one should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about it. And we'll talk about what we're listening to. We will get off various topics off our chest. But we're going to get things started, guys, with what I love. Brews Day. Chris, you love Brews Day. Dan, you love Brews Day. Chris, get us started. What are you sipping on during the show today?
Yeah, so if you're joining us for the first time in a while, Brews Day, we record these episodes on Tuesdays. So we make it Brews Day because Tuesday is the only day of the week that doesn't have a good identity, and we're trying to change that. So for my Brews Day, I don't know about you guys. Have you seen these beer advent calendars?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I got one. And it's full of German beers, which is really cool. But they're all like legit German beers. So I don't know what the hell any of them are.
Yes.
And I don't really know where they come from. But the one I picked today is called Grandel, I think. And it's a Bavarian lager. Okay. So I'm excited to give it a try. And to try and learn about this specific beer, I looked it up on Beer Advocate. And I want to read the top description of it. It is from somebody named Gordon, and he says, this beer is not bad, very drinkable, but unremarkable. And he says it's not overly sweet. It has a dry finish. And this is my favorite part. It looks like beer and it smells like beer. So cheers to Brews Day, my friends.
Wow. That's amazing. It must taste like a beer.
Well, I'll tell you.
That's about all you can tell us, right? It tastes like a beer, drinks like a beer.
Damn it, he's right. It tastes like
Spot
a beer.
on.
Yeah.
Gosh, man. Yeah, that's another slogan for the podcast that we could steal right there. It's like it sounds like a podcast. It's a podcast.
I smell a shirt coming.
Oh God. All right. Well, for Brews Day, I've got Sierra Nevada Hazy Little Thing IPA. I love Sierra Nevada. I love all they do. And I haven't had this before. So I was like, let me try this and I'll open it up for Brews Day. But guys, I'm a little nervous since we put out the Brews Day Constitution last week that we have to open it on the show. I'm a little nervous because I had to change my daughter before I came on here and she knocked it like off of like the changing table because I was coming from her room right into here. So I just had it with me while I was changing and she kicked it off. So like, I don't know what's going to happen, but bear with me.
I'm excited.
Oh, we're good.
Oh man.
We're good. We're
Ooh.
safe. We're safe. Shouts to Brews
Unexpectedly
Day.
clean. That's disappointing. That's disappointing.
Dan, what are you sipping on?
It's funny you mentioned that. I did break the Constitution because I had a similar incident with the beer that I have, and I was way too nervous because I thought, no way. I talked about a can bomb last week, and I come in here and I just take one that's shaken up. So I had to be certain. So apologies for that. It is already open. One that I have for Brews Day this week. I go back to a brewery I highlighted a couple of weeks ago, Platform beer company out of Cleveland. Huge fan of their beers, and they have a slushy style sour line. It's their Martian series, and it's really unique. That's something that they're expanding on a little bit more, and that's right up Steel City Dan's alley. So had to go with it. Trying to keep within the holiday theme here a little bit. This beer is actually green. It's green apple, pineapple, and passion fruit, as you can see right there. The beer itself is also green, not just the can, as I am showing you here. It is fairly tart. So depending on how you like your sours, if you like them extra tart, extra sour, extra sweet, this is more along the tart realm. You get a lot of passion fruit, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge green apple fan on anything because nothing that flavor has a flavor of green apple actually tastes like a green apple. I'm talking and looking at you, Jolly Ranchers. But so I was a little bit nervous, but this isn't giving you that false fake green apple taste. It's real. It's tart. It's fruity like a green apple would be. And the passion fruit actually comes through quite a bit too. They also brew this with vanilla, and it doesn't come through right away, but as it's warmed up a little bit, I'm getting some more and more vanilla on the back end of it, which makes it delightful. That really true slushy smoothie style. So boys, Green Martian from Platform. It's delicious, and cheers.
God, Dan, the way you describe beer is just amazing.
He went like this when he said passion fruit.
I know. He's thinking the passion fruit.
Passion fruit. You gotta
Yeah,
feel
like-
it.
It's just and just he's throwing out all these flavors. And then he's just like, but it's made with vanilla. You'll taste that vanilla.
That brewed with that vanilla on that back end, you will. You may not expect that at first, but usually you let stouts warm up and the flavors are enhanced. That's natural. In sours, you don't want that to happen, but this one, for some reason, is happening. So I had to mention that.
Hey, man. Looks like a beer. Tastes like a beer.
Tastes like a beer. This may not look like one inside, but it tastes like one.
Happy Brews Day.
Cheers, boys. Happy
Cheers.
Brews Day. All right, guys. Well, let's get it off our chests. We got various topics on our mind, so we get it off our chests. Chris, get us started. Get it off your chest, sir.
All right. I need to dig this up because a very interesting text was sent with my family, and it came from my mom. She was cleaning out the house, okay, or one of the rooms in the house, and she came across an old report card of mine from high school, and it was like during SAT prep time, and like the comments from the SAT prep instructors were just awful. I will tell you that, like, growing up, I gave the few courses that I was really interested in, I gave them my all. But for the most part, like, I did enough to get by, and that was pretty much it. And it really took me until, I think, my late 20s and turning, into my early 30s where I am now to like find where that really legit work ethic is, to like figure out what you want to do, apply yourself to it as much as you can and in the right ways, right? As much as you possibly can, and like see where it can go. And so like the comments were awful. They were like, Chris needs to apply himself more in class. There was one for like the math questions. It was like, Chris needs to not just put an answer and actually show his work. And I'm sure back then I was like, why do I need to show my work to you? I don't care what you think about my work. Was the answer right? If the answer was right, then I was right. But like, I wanted to talk about this because it made me reflect on like how my work ethic in the past just really was like kind of half-assed. And you eventually, I think you find what you're passionate about. And then you really, once you find that thing, find out where your work ethic can go and like how much you can actually put into something that you love. So if you're listening and you haven't found that thing that you're passionate about, I encourage you to continue to explore and find things that you're interested in, and see if there's some way that you can grow that into something bigger. Because once you find what you're passionate about, it makes it really easy to put in more and more and more work and get better and more dedicated at the thing that you want to do. So it was a cool thing, one, to laugh at myself about, but also two, reflect on, how far I've come from that teenager that really didn't give a shit about much to now doing things that, I very much believe in. So that's the message this week. And shout out, Mom. Thanks for putting me on blast and the Gates family text message with my awful report cards.
Maybe.
That is not where I thought that was going.
No.
Where I thought it was going, honestly, I thought it was like your mom found an old report card of yours and then like a bunch of other stuff, and she wants to send it to your house, because that's my problem. My parents are offloading all their junk. Halloween decorations, offloading it. They're saying, oh, the kids will love it. No. You guys are just sending me your junk. That's what you're doing. I thought that's where that was going.
Well, that is also very real. And that happens as well, but not the topic this week. No.
Dan, get it off your chest.
Boys, we haven't had a wedding update in a while.
Oh,
so I think it's appropriate for time for one. Sorry, I'm trying to do three things at once. I'm making sure my right microphone is on. Did either of you have a videographer, not a photographer, but a videographer at your wedding?
I did.
Didi, you did.
Yes.
I did. We did not have a videographer. No.
Okay. So I knew videographers were a thing, but I really didn't know if that was going to be a direction that we went. It seems like a lot of people maybe don't do them as much as they used to. We are going in that direction. And so it's very interesting from the stages of choosing a photographer, which takes a lot of time to really go through a bunch of portfolios and things like that, and checking out the style of photographs that you like to pick your photographer. But picking a videographer, if it's not the same group or the same person, boy, that's that is intense. Let me tell you something about it. It's like being the ultimate movie critic, where you're just watching these things, watching these highlight films, right, of somebody else's wedding. And you're like, first of all, you're judging the hell out of their wedding, right? You're like, oh, did you see what she's wearing? Oh, did you see where they are? It's amazing. And then you're judging the videographer as well for their work. You're judging the people that are in it, their guests, and how they're able to capture them. It's like you're the head of a studio, and you're just like, no, I don't want to see anymore. On to the next one. And that's what it is. And this takes hours, because these highlight films take anywhere from 3.5 minutes all the way up to 12. And if that's all that they're there to show you, you got to watch the 12-minute video to get a feel for this videographer. I had no idea how intense this was, because if you don't, I'm very opinionated when it comes to this stuff, especially like photographs and videos. Those are the things you're taking with you, right? And that you have forever. Yeah, you got memories and you got other things like that, but these are the things that you keep looking at. So they got to be spot on for me. So I'm pretty stingy. I give my fiance a lot of credit for putting up with that, first of all, and doing a lot of the research ahead of time. Because we see eye to eye on a lot of things, but the style of videographer and photographer is difficult. There's so much that goes into it. It's the style of how they shoot, the music choice that they choose for their videos. Is there slow motion? Is there not slow motion? How long is it? How much does it cost? What do you get at the end? Do you get raw footage? Do you get them for the full day? It's exhausting. It takes a lot of time. I wasn't mentally prepared for all of that, but I know that in the end, it's worth it to make sure it's right, and we have the right person to do that. So that's where things are. Shouts to two friends of the podcast, our good friend Ryan and Eric, who recently got engaged. Welcome to the club, boys. If you're having a videographer, be ready. Be ready for hours of being a movie critic and just going and watching through videos and being the most judgy person you could have ever been in your life. It's fun and exhausting all at the same time. And it's almost over. We almost have who we need. So getting down to the selection process here, and we'll have a winner to pick. So I'll be glad to put this in our rearview mirror.
Dude, the video is really cool to have. It's really cool to have. Like, it's not something you need, but it's definitely something that's really cool to have. Like, and make sure that they use the music that you want, and don't be worried about putting it on the internet. Because we had videos that I like posted on Instagram and got taken down because they had real music in them. But like, they're my videos, so like, I don't care. But sorry, they couldn't go on Instagram because they've got like a Kanye song playing in the background. They've got something else. So like, yeah, like, you just use the music that you want. Tell them to use that. Don't use like generic music. Like, use the stuff that like you want them to use. Yeah,
we found out that those are the better videos, and that's usually all the person says is that, oh, you just can't post it on the internet or whatever. And it's like, well, that's not what we want it for anyways. So it's interesting. Like I said, I didn't know my fiance would be interested in having the video, but she's on this, wedding community Facebook group, and they say the one regret that most brides have is not having a video. You have your photographs, but not having a video is a big thing that comes up. So all of a sudden, that's part of the budget and part of the decision process. So it's been fun.
And another suggestion: make sure you have two. We'll talk about this the other time. We don't have to bore everybody the podcast, but like,
I need those details. Yeah,
just letting you know. Make sure you have. They give you the full package if you're going to do it. There's reasons.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Had to get off my chest. Thanks, boys.
Right. I love it. All right, well, boys, I got to get this off my chest. My daughter is basically Daniel Dudley Jr. That's who she is, and it's terrifying. And my wife knows this, and I feel really bad for my wife because we have a daughter, we have a son, but you always want your daughter to, your daughter be like you. And there's a little things she does that are like Siobhan, but for the most part, it's me. So like, I see a lot of parent-teacher conferences in my future. I see just a lot of just having to deal with a lot of really dumb things that like my daughter decides to say to teachers. Not mean things, because I was not a mean child. I was not a violent child. I just was an opinionated person. I just talked a lot because if I thought the teacher was wrong, I needed to tell them why I thought they were wrong. Then I'd end up going to the principal's office, and since my mom worked at the middle school, they would walk me over to the middle school and just say, I can't deal with him. He's yours today. And I feel like that's what's gonna happen with my daughter, because anytime she looks back at me and says something and it's gibberish, right? I know something ridiculous just came out of her mouth. Like, not mean, not violent, not hateful, just absolutely ridiculous came out of her mouth, and I can already see it. So, like, just warning the world, there's another me out there. My name is Saoirse, and it's coming. Just had to get that off my chest.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Dude. Yeah. People think that it's always like, yeah, the girl, the boy's the boy. No. Nope. It's not this. No. I'm terrified. I need both my kids to be like my wife. Not like it. Oh, boys. Well, that was Get It Off Your Chest. If it's the first time listening to the podcast, we just talk about various things. And then we get into the main course, which is now, that's what I call brunch, volume 4, the last of our installment of a very, I don't want to say it's exhausting. This has been fun going through all the now volumes, right?
It's I would say time consuming.
Okay, there you go.
That's appropriate. Yeah, not exhausting, time consuming, but yes, like you said, Dee, very enjoyable to kind of go through these various eras of now and see how not only music has changed, but how now themselves has changed in how they're selecting their music, what they're promoting, what they're doing, in all of that, and that they are still pumping out now albums up to this day. So it's been fun. It's been a fun look back in time.
Yeah, man. Now 77 is out. Now, is it 76 or 77? I forget. One of the two. I saw a commercial for it. 77, I think, is coming out like next week. So
jeez.
Mark your
get
calendars.
Ready. Well, which ones are we going over today? Dan, tell the people, what years are we going through today for the last round of now?
Yeah, this is the last round. So we're looking at now volumes 53. We left off at 52. So this is 53 through 72, which takes us from the years of 2015 to 2019. We've kind of tried to clump all of these eras into 5-year segments, and the first one had a couple extra ones on the front end, but the album totals worked out for that anyway. So naturally, we didn't want to include 2020 for a number of reasons. So we stopped at 2019 with the last of the now volumes. So 53 through 72 is our last group, picking the last member to enter the final 4. We've got volume 5, volume 20, and volume 48 as our other 3. So we picked that final 4th component to go into our championship round here today. This is gonna be fun.
Yes. Chris, get us started, man. What are we throwing up on the big now? That's what I call brunch screen first.
So before we actually put a compilation up, I want to talk about just this era that we evaluated in comparison to the other eras that we've looked at, because this is the end, right? And I actually want you guys to go before me, because I was largely uninspired by this round of now. And I think, you guys tell me what you think about this, but I think, like, when I think about now, that's what I call music. There's some nostalgia piece to it that I'm expecting. And I think probably by no fault of its own, most of this music is not that old. So I feel like I'm still hearing these songs, on the radio or elsewhere. And these ones just didn't pull at me the way the first 3 rounds of all of this did. I don't know. Did you guys have any of that going on?
I was like, oh wow, we're caught up now. That's honestly what I thought. I was like, wait, this song's not all that old. But then there were songs that I was like, wait, this song did come out 4 years ago. Like,
yeah.
Omi, Cheerleader.
Yeah, right. It's interesting you put it that way, Chris, where there's nostalgia. That's what it should call it, nostalgia.
That's it. Nostalgia. Done.
nostalgia associated with everything else we've come up to this point, and a lot of that had to do, with where we were at those point in time that we went over. Is whether it be middle school, going through high school, going through college, and then even just right out of college when we're running rampant around the streets and the bars and clubs and things like that. And this era is kind of like the first thing where none of that is the case. We're all grown ass adults and we've had jobs this whole time, and this is just new music. It's popular music that's we're hearing mostly on the radio, nowhere else. So it's that feeling of, whoa, we're caught up. This is the new age here, and we've, there's a different association with this new music. I think even if we're looking at now, 15 years from now, I don't know if there's a nostalgic, connection to this group of songs from this time period. So it's interesting, but yeah, we're there. We're caught up.
Yeah, we're caught up. And who knows, like you said, maybe 10, 15 years from now, I'll look back on now 72 and think, oh man, remember what life was like then. But like, I didn't have any of that this time around. So, so I'm open to, I had one that kind of stuck out for me, but I would love to hear either one of your picks first, and we can throw those up on the screen and see if the one that I had matched anything that you guys had.
All right. Well, cool. I'll go. Throw up 71. Throw up 71. And this is where I'm like, oh, we caught up. But this collection of songs is just really good. And I was doing this thinking about it the way that you just said it, Chris. I'm like, in a few years, I'm going to be thinking about, these specific songs just as a very good era of music. Like, we've got, Post Malone on here. We've got the Jonas Brothers comeback stuff on here that was never supposed to be good, but it's freaking good. Got Shawn Mendes on here. If I Can't Have You, it's my favorite Shawn Mendes song. Got Ariana Grande off the song off her best album, Khalid, Katy Perry.
That's a good Katy Perry song, though. Never it's really fine. Overs a good Katy Perry song.
It's fine. But it's just, you have Lizzo on here. You have DJ Khaled on here as well. Like, there's just a lot of really great music on here that I will look back to in this time when you're, throwing stuff on, or you all of a sudden you hear a song. Lil Nas X, Old Town Road is on here too. Like, these are just a great collection of songs that really kind of tell you, what were you listening to in 2019? All right, now 71, throw this on, little Sweet But Psycho, get that going. And also, big reason why I picked this, because you go through this list, you're like, wow, this is really good. It's really good. It's really good. And then you get to Dan and Shay Speechless at the end. And like, every time I was in an Uber past 1 a.m., this song came on. This song came on. Didn't matter. Honestly, it just didn't matter where I was. It didn't matter where I was, what car. It didn't matter who the driver was. Nothing. It was Speechless by Dan and Shay, because those guys have this ability to just have songs that just play all the time. And just like Tequila, Speechless, they're just good at it. But yeah, I love Now 71, but my favorite, Now 57. That's my winner here, guys. Now 57. Wow, that was quick, Chris. Good work. Man, thanks. Telling you, man, we got young John King up here doing the thing. All right. But Now 57, this is my winner, and it's pretty obvious why. I mean, sorry, Justin Bieber. We got Confident, Demi Lovato. Great Ariana Grande song right there. We got Ellie Goulding, Selena Gomez, The Weeknd, Alessia Cara's first hit. We got Daya, Pittsburgh, Hideaway on there, A Cake by the Ocean. This right here, my favorite Charlie Puth song, One Call Away. And Chris, he has a weird relationship with Charlie Puth this week. But yeah, like this Now 57, out of all of the nows, I was like, I was kind of hit and miss with a lot of this now era, but this one was my favorite by far.
Yeah, I had this one as it wasn't in my top, but this was one that I had noted as a super, super strong contender. And looking at it again, I kind of like what we went through last week. I'm like, shoot, maybe this should have been the one. Because even songs that I don't care for as much anymore on here, I can respect as good songs, and they're still being played to this day. That Andy Grammer Good to Be Alive song is just super annoying, but it's being played everywhere. Renegades by Ex Ambassadors is on here, just to mention some other ones that towards the back end. We always talk about the back end of these albums and how they seem to be weaker. This one isn't. There's some solid hits all the way from really start to finish. So now 57, yeah, really strong.
Yeah, see, this is exactly why I wanted you guys to go first.
Okay.
Because like you guys make me think as you're talking about this more of just like the man, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the relevancy of the songs as opposed to like if they're good songs or not. You know what I mean? Like that whole time and place thing. I feel like it was hard for me to focus on the time and place aspect because like we're kind of still in that time and place. But like you're right. When I look through this list on 57, like that's a lot of big artists with a lot of songs that were quite big at that time and place.
Yeah,
sure.
And we're talking. I know it's sometimes hard to think about it like this, but it's like this is from 2015. It's like that was so 6 years. It's almost 6 years ago. We're talking. Because that Justin Bieber, sorry, it feels like it just came out, but like this was a minute ago. Like that was a while back. And but yeah, I think that was kind of, but yeah, like I said before, like that was kind of my thing going through this now thing. I was, man, these songs came out yesterday. Then you look at back, you're like, oh wait, Iggy Azalea was famous 6 years ago. Shoot.
Yeah, you're right. This was kind of that era where it felt like they were much more recent than when you look at when they actually came out. It was a little bit more eye-opening that way. 57 strong. 57 strong. I do like your pick here, Didi. Chris, if you want us to continue, I'll give you my runner-up. That was number 61. So now 61, if you don't mind, JK, John King, pulling that up on the big board here. Yeah, hell yeah. We got those songs on the end that everybody had to listen to this time. Out time. Let's go. Boy, oh boy. This one was really tough to not pick. You've got peak Bruno Mars with 24K Magic. Maroon 5, Alessia Cara, Ariana Grande, more Bieber, him and DJ Snake with Let Me Love You. Amazing song. We get The Weeknd. Dude, Black Beatles. That song was huge. Ray Shremmer. That song was huge.
Time and place, man.
Dude,
that is the mannequin challenge.
That's the mannequin challenge. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That's how it got so big. Helped it get so big. Broccoli by the artist formerly known as Big Baby Drum, now going by his his government name, Shelly. But Juju on that beat, Fifth Harmony, All Time Low by John Bellion. I mean, it's just Hey Violet, Shawn Mendes, Niall Horan. We finally get some 1D splitting up, and we're going to get some of that solo career here too. And then extra shouts out on the now that what's next. Talk about those songs that are at the end that are basically not very good most of the time. We've got Borns on here with my girl Dagny. We've got JoJo and Wiz Khalifa. I mean, Maggie Rogers. You kidding me? Shouts to Now for being in early on those songs. So Now 61, a close runner up for me, but this was just like boom, 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 hit after hit. Tough not to pick this one.
Yeah, this was the one that I said at the beginning was the one that I picked because it just felt like as I went through it, it was the only one that I listened through the entire thing and didn't really feel compelled to pass over something. And like you said, Dan, like even down to the end, like with the Now What's Next, I hadn't heard some of those, but even those, I felt like I wasn't compelled to just skip over it and rush to see what's left on the album. So this is the one I had that really stood out was Now 61.
Okay, well that's gonna make this interesting.
61 I had written down. Wasn't my runner up. Almost was, but yeah, 61 is that's no skips right there, man.
Right. Which takes me to my favorite, which we've already seen. But I'd like you to pull it up again, if you don't mind. Now 71.
Oh.
Now 71. Didi, you've gone through most of this already. Billie Eilish gets picked as a now next artist somewhere in the 60s. And here at 71, Bad Guy makes its appearance. One of my favorite songs ever. Period. That'll never change. Ever. No matter how old I am. Billie Eilish is on this album, finally getting a bit of spotlight from the Now fam. But these songs by these artists are just top tier songs from all of them. Wow, from Post Malone. You mentioned Old Town Road. We won't get into the Katy Perry songs, but we had 5 Seconds of Summer. Juice from Lizzo. Now that's very important. If it was another Lizzo song, I might roll my eyes just a little bit, not because of the song, just because of other reasons surrounding the song. But Juice by Lizzo. This is early Lizzo. This is great stuff here. You mentioned the If I Can't Have You by Shawn Mendes, how great that is. Break Up With Your Girlfriend on Board by Ariana Grande. People go crazy over that song. It's amazing. She's absolutely incredible. And then, not being a big country guy, Dan and Shay, that's a huge song. I know that is. Louis Capaldi, that's a big song too. So it was between 61, 71 were tough for me, but I gave the slight edge to 71. And that maybe because more of these songs are still played today because it's a little bit newer and they still resonate that much. But it's just like some of the biggest songs in the last 5 years total are on this album alone.
Can't
That's
argue.
my pick.
Like 71. Christopher.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's between 61 and 71, right? Didi, what was your top pick?
57.
50. Okay, so Dan had 71 as a number one. Didi had it as a number two. I had 61 as a number one. Dan had it as a number two. So, I mean,
oh boy.
I would be comfortable with either one. I think, like, as we've talked this out, like I said before, I think 61 grabbed me more because it was just older songs. So it was more of like a callback than 71 was. But I would be comfortable with either one. I mean, I think they're both packed with really legitimate music.
Oof.
Didi,
I gotta say,
what do you think of Didi?
looking at 61, I feel like we gotta go with 61. I like 61.
Okay. Let's pull it back up. Here we go.
Just,
Whew.
I feel like you have peak. You not peak, but like you have some really, really great stuff, like greatest hits album stuff by The Weeknd, by Alessia Cara. You know, you've got Maroon 5 and Kendrick, which is a good song. I mean, it's a really good song. It's just like those two on a track together is not something that you think would happen, and it did happen at that time. You know, Broccoli is great. Juju on that beat. That was, part of the, they came in right after Silento and
Right.
and kept the dance crazes going. The best girl group of the decade, Fifth Harmony.
Yeah.
Like
That song's number 10 on this list. That's crazy. That's such a That's My Girl is a really, really good song. And it probably didn't get as much play as it should have because when they put out albums, it was just like there were like 6 singles on them. And they were just hit after hit. And so songs like that can get easily forgotten. And not that this is necessarily done from best to worst song, but there's kind of a flow and feel to that based on how Now does it. They load up early. Sneaky song, Hey Violet's on here. Guys my age.
Yeah.
Didi, you gave me a Hey Violet signed album.
Yes, I did.
Fantastic. I still have
You're
it.
welcome.
I appreciate that. 61's good. 61's really, really good. Yeah, you're not skipping any song on here, I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that it?
61's got to be it.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Shout out to Ray Shrimmer. Get back together, guys.
Yeah.
Please. For the love of God, get back together, guys. I need more Ray Shrimmer in my life. God, like Beatles. It's just a fire song.
So good. So good. So that's it, guys. That one,
Yeah.
that was interesting there with picking 61, but I'm glad we go through and do these live. We don't discuss this stuff ahead of time at all. As tempted as I am to text you guys in the middle of listening to these albums, I try not to save it for this, because I know it's going to be a very interesting discussion. We're going to make up these kind of decisions on the fly, just looking at it in the moment. So that's it. Let's put it in the big board. So that takes us to our final four. Started off with Now Volume 5, Volume 20. Last week we picked Volume 48, and now our fourth selection is Now Volume 61. So nothing too close together there, which means this is going to be fantastic comparing these final four albums up against each other. You know, we don't have anything that's too close together. So we really do have these eras split out, starting from, again, we started in 1998 with these and rolled all the way into 2019 with some amazing music. It's going to be much harder to make the decisions moving forward to find the best Now album at all time. Chris, you mentioned that nostalgia thing. How do you like remove that and try to pick it based on best songs? But time and place plays such a role with so many of these. So that is going to be a surefire debate. What we're probably looking at 2 weeks from now for our Now winner.
Are we planning to crowdsource feedback on this in any way? Like, are we going to be doing polls or anything like that?
We should.
Yeah, we should. Now we have our final four. Let's do that. I totally agree.
Yeah, we need to make some like graphics or something and put the track lists on there, because I feel like if we're doing yeoman's work here. Okay,
absolutely.
We're doing something that the rest of the country has been too afraid to do. But I do think since we're doing this for our country, we should solicit some input in some way. I think it would be good.
Yeah, I feel like since New Year's is coming, people are gonna make a playlist for New Year's, especially since we're all gonna be at home anyways. You gotta have that fire playlist for your home, socially distant situation. And like a perfect way to do one of these polls is like, which one of these nows are you gonna play for your New Year's Eve party?
Like
you know what I mean? You got to play one of these on New Year's Eve for that last hour. What you got? 5, 20, 48, or 61?
Oh boy.
Like, I think that's where it goes, because I feel like now is a good thing to play on New Year's. Because you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to, because like Dan and I are not good people to make the playlist for New Year's.
No.
Because like we'll have songs on there that everyone loves, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, have you heard the new Maggie Rogers? And people are like, what is this?
I roll, and who is this? What is this? Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? You need the hits. That's what Now is for. And I think that's a good way to kind of tie this into things. So yeah. But boys, before we get to what we're listening to currently, let's go down the list of what was the best song that you listened to? Best song maybe you forgot about, best song you just heard. You're like, oh shoot, this was my jam. In these nows.
For me, the best song was Lean On, and you both know why, featuring Me. Just an absolutely incredible song, even more incredible live. So Lean On was the one that I will never forget, and my favorite song from it. Best one that I maybe, and again, these are newer, so not forgot, but just forgot a little bit about how great it was, maybe, was Remind Me to Forget by Kygo and Miguel. Oh, I mean, at the time, I remember feeling that way, but it was just one of those things where this song's a couple years old and it just hasn't been played, and it's still that damn good. That's one that I forgot about a little bit. That's a fire song.
Yeah, I don't know that there was really much that I forgot about. There wasn't one that, I don't know. There were a couple artists that I more or less were like, oh, I haven't heard from them in a while. Like I heard like Daya was on there a few times, and I just was thinking, I know I'm not the most in touch with new music, but I thought it's been a little while since I've heard anything from Daya. And like, I totally forgot about how big Fifth Harmony was. I don't know what they're doing today, but like Dan said, like there was that, they had like 6 singles in a row that were just like everywhere. And yeah, that kind of stuck out.
Do you know that they're
Yes.
no longer a group?
No.
Have you heard of
No longer a group.
Camila Cabello?
Yes.
There you go. Okay,
She
she was a
was-
member of Fifth Harmony.
Oh, there you go. I didn't
There you
know
go.
that.
So you're just trying to educate here.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
We need Fifth Harmony to get back together. We need
Yeah, we
that to
do.
happen. I don't know when, but we need it.
Yeah. Best song I forgot about, Thomas Rhett, Die a Happy Man, but the Nelly version. Don't know if you guys know this, but Nelly has a version of Die a Happy Man, and it's better than Thomas Rhett's version of Die a Happy Man. Letting you guys know right now. Freaking great.
So
why has Nelly come up in every single one of these post now debates, whether it's best or
Dude,
worst song? It's
Keeps himself relevant. I don't know how he shows up every 5 years. Nelly does one thing, and it's like unforgettable.
that's going to be your vote for like overall now MVP is going to be Nelly, isn't it? For all the eras, it's going to have to be Nelly.
I was thinking about that last night, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but like it's an interesting list.
like, remember Dan had a streak where he was drinking marshmallow beers? Like now the streak is Nelly references on this podcast.
It is. See, took it over.
I feel like it started even before we're doing now for some
Right.
reason. And it's never going to end. It's never going to end.
Yeah, I'm telling you that the Nelly version, Die Happy Man. Trust me, guys. It's great. But I had forgotten about that one. But I'll go right into my the worst song that I forgot about. And I forgot about this one. I actually forgot about this song. Lucas Graham, 7 Years. I hate that song. I hate that song so much. I just like whatever. Lucas Graham, he's actually a nice person. I mean, in the group or whatever. But like, man, no.
Yeah.
Once I was 7 years, and I know it's about his dad and all this sad stuff. I get it, but man, songs that were popular, that were huge. That song was so big, and I'm like, I'm so happy that I completely left that song in whatever year that was, 2017, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But man, Lucas Graham, worst song.
That's a great pick. I totally agree with you. This was probably the hardest thing for me to choose because there were so many good contenders, honestly. Worst song. And there was one or two commonalities in every song because I'm going through it and I'm like, yep, putting this on the worst list. And then I make my decision. Meghan Trainor makes an appearance in just about every single one of the songs that I chose. One in particular, Chris, with your favorite, Charlie Puth, Marvin Gaye by Charlie Puth and Meghan Trainor is just a trash song. It's no good. We didn't need it, and I didn't need to hear it again. No by Meghan Trainor
My name
is horrible.
No, my name is no.
Oh,
no.
How did talking about fooling America that those songs were good? She deserves in the Hall of Fame with LMFAO. But for me, the worst song that I tried so hard to forget about because it was on so many commercials and the Olympics and everything is Fight Song by Rachel Platten. And I just hated that song from day one and still do. I never needed it. And I really didn't even need to just see it. I didn't even listen to it. I knew what it was. I skipped it immediately and I didn't need it again. So that's the one for me.
I'm changing my pick. That's my pick. I hate that song so much. And like my wife Katie loves it. So if it comes on in the car, like she turns it up and I can't stand that song. Yeah, that I changed my mind. That's what it is.
I've had arguments. I remember having arguments with your wife about that song, about how much she loves it and how much I hated it when it was out.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Cause like when you said Olympics, there were actually two contenders. Katy Perry's Rise is on one of these as well. And that song is awful. And it was another one of those NBC Olympic theme songs for like months before the Olympics and all the way through the Olympics. And yeah. I thought you were going there. So Olympic theme songs, man.
It can be rough.
Not
They
a
make
good
the
look.
wrong selection. You're hearing that song, bitch, for a month straight. And you're going to get sick of it.
Oh, all right. Well, who is the MVP of this now era? Dan, go for it.
For me, I wanted to pick Nickelback just because they didn't release any music during this era, which added value to everything. So in terms of most valuable, they added value by not being on any of these for the first time. So I thought about Nickelback. But I'm going with EDM groups and EDM DJs, the likes of Calvin Harris, Kygo, Zed, the Chainsmokers, Tiesto, Marshmello, DJ Snake, Diplo. All of those guys and girls dominated this era of music. They changed music, in my opinion, forever. They absolutely changed the path of music, whether they were releasing songs by themselves and then they featured artists which enhanced their careers and the singers' careers as well. And they collabed on some of the most amazing things. It's really opened the world of collaborating with music so much more. So just that EDM DJ super group is who I select as the MVP.
I like it. All right, I will go next. My MVP, One Direction.
Ooh.
One Direction shows up here as a group and with several solo songs. And I mean, I've said this on Twitter before and things like One Direction's the greatest boy band of all time. It's just what they are.
We're going to have another bracket, I think.
I can't wait.
I smell a bracket.
The greatest boy band of all time. And it's because of what they did as a group and what they did solo. Like, not everybody can break away and still be and still have big success, but they do it. And then all through these Now albums, you're just like, they just pop up, you know, even ones that have slightly decent songs, that not great songs, but it's just like Niall Horan shows up, Harry Styles shows up, Liam Payne shows up. You're just like, okay, like they show up on these Nows as a group and solo. One Direction.
Those are both really good picks. I had Bieber because he's in there a lot. And he was in there a lot for the third volume of Nows that we reviewed as well last week. So he's a 2-time MVP candidate. But yeah, I don't know. It was, again, going back to a comment I made earlier about how 61, the one that we picked, was one that I just never was compelled to skip past. I'm never compelled to skip past Bieber. They're all hits, and every occurrence that he had, when there were quite a few of them, I was tuning in. So I had Justin Bieber.
That's solid. Yeah, hard not to pick Bieber. I do want to give a shout out, honorable mention. Ariana Grande was incredible during this era. She's still in her prime, and it was her prime throughout the whole thing. I think we maybe started to hear a little bit of her in the last era that we talked about last week, but she was a hard one not to pick, because songs that she was featured on in singles, it was just boom, boom, hit. There's no second tier Ariana Grande song that makes an appearance anywhere here, because there aren't very many of them, because they're all great. No. So had to say that.
No, that's very true, guys. Well, that has been Now That's What I Call Brunch, Volume 4, and we will be doing a bunch of stuff leading up to this till we crown this winner, which I'm very excited about this conversation and how we're going to talk about Now 5 and Now 61 in the same
right.
I don't know how we're gonna do this, but it's gonna be entertaining. Well, let's get into more music here. What we're listening to currently on the Brunch Breakdown. Chris, tell me, what you listen to, man?
Yeah, so the one I want to start off with is Machine Gun Kelly, who I've put on here a ton. He's actually performing live tonight, I think on CBS I think it's a benefit concert of some sort. So it'll be over by the time anybody listens to this, but they had a really long interview with him, just breaking down, the transition of his music and the transition of him as a person and everything that he's been through. And I mean, it was a ton of stuff that I never knew about him, and led me to dive back into Tickets to My Downfall and just appreciate once again how amazing that album was. I did not know that it had over 500 million streams in the first week, I think it was, which is just absurd. And also back to something we talked about, I think it might've been last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago. He has, whether you like it or not, he has put that genre of pop punk back on the map which I really appreciate. So I don't know what I'm going to put back on the playlist yet this week. I'll figure it out and it'll be on there, but just another opportunity to show appreciation for how amazing that album was. That's what I was listening to today.
Nice. I love
Solid.
it. Love it.
Yeah. Sneaky, maybe a sneaky, we got our brunchies coming up here in a couple of weeks. Sneaky Artist of the Year candidate, Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah.
I think we throw him out there. I'll go next. I'm going to put on a single from an artist, Madison Beer. You may or may not be familiar with her because of her social media following, or because of her music. Whatever you choose, fantastic. But you should take more interest in her music if you're not as much aware of it. Again, huge social media following, but for good or bad, whatever it is. But as an artist, she has released a number of songs, and she has a highly anticipated forthcoming album due out in February. And she released a song called Boy Shit this past week. And it's just an incredibly genius pop song with a super catchy chorus. It's a short song. She takes care of business and hits end on this song. It's less than 3 minutes long, but it's one that'll be playing in your brain for much longer than that. Boy Shit by Madison Beer. Great song for the playlist this week.
Nice. Madison Beer, been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
A while.
Mm-hmm.
All right, boys, Jack Harlow just put out his debut album, and it is hit or miss, but the hits are great. Because, I mean, you've already heard What's Poppin', great song. You've already heard Tyler Hero, it's great. But he's got the song on there called 21C Delta that I just love. And I think, because there's a lot of features on there, of course. I mean, young rapper, of course, you want to put Big Sean's on a track that's good, the Baby's on a track and stuff like that. But when he's by himself, he's at his he's at his best, because he has great beat selection. He knows exactly how to. I mean, his flow is just like really, really good. I like listening to Jack Harlow, and I like listening to hear him by himself. He just says a lot of not interesting things, not very interesting things. Just knows how to make cool shit sound really cool. Like, he just sounds like a really good hang, Jack Harlow, and that's why I like listening to him by himself, because he just seems like a good hang. So 21C Delta, Jack Harlow.
Nice.
The second one I want to put on is, you know how Spotify gives you, the recap of your year, who you've listened to, the most played songs, all that type of stuff. So I know that the brunchies are coming up, and I've started to, look at what I think was the best from the past year. Luckily, Spotify tells you things that you don't even realize. One of my top songs from this year was from a band called Broadside, their song Coffee Talk. And it makes sense that is the most listened to song for me from this past year, because I dare you to find a catchier chorus to a pop punk song. So I'm going to put it on the playlist. Okay. It's been on the playlist before.
Accepted.
I'm going to put it back on the playlist this week. Broadside with the song Coffee Talk. We're putting it back on.
Challenge accepted. Okay. I'll find one. Maybe not. Let's see. It's my turn. I'm going to put Noah Cyrus on the playlist this week. We did her sister Miley a couple weeks ago. Her album came out. She's dropped a couple singles so far this year, but her little sister Noah is having a great career all in her own, and she's really evolved in her style of music as well. But she released a single called All Three. It's kind of a twisted love song if you really break down the lyrics, but it's a softer acoustic song with acoustic guitar. The vocals are very vulnerable in it, and there's just kind of this simple bass drum beat that drives the song. The last chorus in particular showcases like a tremendous vocal range that we don't always get from her in this song. If you want to watch the music video, I recommend not doing it at work. Do it in the privacy of your own home with no one else around. But the song itself, just listen to the song itself, All Three by Noah Cyrus. Really, really great song.
Dan, Noah Cyrus fan, went to her concert. Me and Dan went to see Noah Cyrus the night before Coachella.
That's right.
And funny thing was, we're at a small venue. We're at because it was like her first headlining show, right? And I wait because I got free tickets for work and was like, sweet. Like Dan, me, a couple of people went, and up in like the risers, which is not a big place. It's not a big place at all.
No.
But up there is like Miley, Billy Ray, all like cheering on Noah, like they're at like a middle school recital. It was like one of the funnier things I've ever seen. It's like you're at the Troubadour in Hollywood, where like all these big performers would perform their first times, and Elton John did residencies there in the 70s and stuff like that. And it's like she's performing and they're up there like literally cheering her on like she was in a middle school pageant.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I'll never forget that show.
Yeah, pretty great. All right, my next one is Lean With It, Rock With It. The Franchise Boys. Lean With It, Rock With It. Because did I say the wrong group? Did I say the wrong group? Maybe I didn't. I don't know. Lean With It, Rock With It. You know what I'm talking about.
Franchise
because
Boys,
yeah, I was like, just want to make sure I said the right group. But anyways, Lean With It, Rock With It. Because I watched Safety that's now on Disney Plus. I want to talk about this last week, but I didn't know if I'd say something wrong and get in trouble or whatever. So I'm saying it now. And it's super good because it's set in 2004. It's a story about a guy who played for Clemson and had to raise his brother while he was at Clemson. It's really, really good story. But it's set in 2004, and the soundtrack is all music from that era. Like, they didn't skimp on getting music rights for this because it is all that music, and it is so awesome. And it's like, and the clothes in it are great. It kind of like throws you into back to 2004 with baggy jeans and throwback jerseys and all this stuff. But like the soundtrack is great, and just hearing Lean With It, Rock With It, and like seeing people do it and like at a party is there's just still nothing that brings America together like Lean With It, Rock With It. Maybe Lean Back, but Lean With It, Rock With It is just everybody, like everybody of a certain age just knows what to do.
That is true.
That's great.
That movie, I'm glad that it's tough out there for Clemson. So I'm glad they were able to get something in their back pocket for recruiting. Good for Clemson. They needed that.
I love you, Chris. Only you. Only you.
Right.
Could turn this heartwarming Disney Plus movie into it's like, Clemson needed more people.
Chris, be glad this wasn't a Notre Dame story and it's like Rudy Part 2 and it's, just be glad it's not that.
I'm just saying, man, like Clemson already had every kid wanting to play there, and now little kids are going to watch this movie on Disney and like be Clemson fans from the time they're 5 years old. And good for Clemson. They didn't have the following, but maybe they'll build one now. That's good for them.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Because there's things in the movie that are just like, if I were a kid, I'd be like, I gotta play there. I'm not joking. I never even thought about it that way until I'm just now thinking like, oh man, if I saw that, all right. Yeah. The
rich get richer in college football. My last song is Leavin' by Jesse McCartney, because last week, talked about that nostalgia earlier on. Last week, from all the music we listened to, I had hard nostalgia coming on, and I needed to listen to some of those songs that I really loved in the past. Jesse McCartney, man. Another, like we talk, I Fifth Harmony's 5 years old. I didn't know what they were doing. What the hell is Jesse McCartney doing? I have no idea, but that was a great song and I loved it. That was back when I was working at Radio Disney with Daniel Dudley over there in Pittsburgh. That was a great jam. So
yeah,
we'll put it on the playlist.
Yeah. Jesse. Good. He was on The Masked Singer. Him and Bow Wow are on the same season.
Wow.
That's what I got.
Chris, shocked you didn't go with a Poother, with a Charlie Puth song. Really surprised.
Well,
I'm
I really
disappointed by that.
I actually thought about another Carrie Hilson song, but I thought, three's
that's
too
a little,
much.
Yeah. Oh man. My last one is going to be from a group that many people probably haven't heard of unless you're really into the alternative indie pop, indie rock scene. The band Camino, and probably better known for their big hits such as Daphne Blue and See Through. They've been featured on some songs with Didi with Chelsea Cutler. That one's not that old, and they were on All Time Low's album. Actually, they were featured on a song, which was an incredible album, period. But then that song is really good too. So I'm hoping that pushes them into the spotlight a little bit further. But they released a song called Roses, and it's kind of about, a lot of their songs aren't always happy, optimistic songs, and they kind of wanted to take the opportunity and change the course a little bit after such a bad year for everybody. That kind of, stopping and smelling the roses, trying to see the good in bad things, and things like that. It's alt pop perfection. It's so good. A really great sound that'll, also stick in your head for days to come. So again, I really think there's a bright future for these guys. If you don't know them, get to know them quickly with some of those other songs. But Roses, it's off their album that's going to be coming out next year from the band Camino.
Nice. All right, my last one. Got a country song for you, Chris, not Dan. Cassidy Pope, Hoodie. I really like songs that are about clothing, about leaving clothes at somebody's house and either them trying to get it back to you or them thinking about it being at your house or something. Because I'm somebody who really misses a couple of my t-shirts, and I know they're not listening, but if for some chance you are listening to like the hour 5 of the Brunch Breakdown, I need you to send me some stuff. But anyways, Hoodie by Cassidy Pope is a really, really good song. Reminds me a lot of like Hey Violet's Hoodie. They have a song called Hoodie that's good too. But Hoodie is just a good song, and it's just about finding someone's clothes in the shirt and in relationships and all that stuff. So Cassidy Pope, Hoodie. That's what we're listening to, boys.
That was amazing. An amazing subtweet within a podcast. I don't know how you did it, but that was great.
Yeah, I'm always getting myself in trouble with those, but it is what it is.
Check the DMs tomorrow, see who ends up messaging us.
Right.
All right. Well, and that has been the Brunch Breakdown. Boys, this has been a ton of fun. And next week we got Christmas.
That's right. We got another special episode, Christmas episode next week. Yeah.
Next week we got Christmas. We got some other stuff. We got the brunchies. We got the end of now. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Leftovers episode. So keep it locked to the Brunch Breakdown. I'm out of here. Bye.